morning, everyone. Welcome to Chino, California. We're here today on a new roofing project. We are on a warehouse building that's approximately about 42,000 square feet. For this project, the spec will be replacing about 35 skylights, building new curbs, flashing them into the existing roofing system, and then overlaying it with a new silicone roofing system. Some of the things that we'll be doing here is for the existing skylights here, you can see that these skylights need to be changed out. A couple things regarding these skylights that show that they're at the end of their useful life is you can see the existing lens right here. You can see the fiberglass exposed now. So that's an indication that this skylight no longer brings in natural light into the warehouse, and that eventually, if this keeps getting exposed more, that water can eventually penetrate through this. So in addition to that, we will also be building curbs. You can see that with this skylight here is very low. So we call this either a self-flashing skylight or low profile skylight. The problem with these is that sometimes when you have a large amount of water that runs through here, it can go up and over the curb and into the roof. So you can see that this building has had issues with this skylight leaking, and we can tell because they've made patches through this over time. You have areas here that there's some exposure here. So it doesn't really take much for water to get in. You have areas like here that's exposed, areas here that's exposed. So what we'll be doing is we'll be building curbs that are about 8 inches high, flash it into the roof, and then the new skylights will be sitting on the curb. So we've just removed one of their old skylights. We built the 2x8 curbs, and what we're doing is we're flashing it in. So on these 2x8 curbs, we have this cam strip here. This cam strip helps convert this 90-degree angle to a 45-degree angle, which will allow water to shed off of the skylight section and onto the roof field so it can properly flow off. What we're doing here right now is we are flashing it in with a cold applied peeling stick. We need a membrane to have the silicone roofing system applied on. So we're using a peeling stick membrane over it, and we get this area detailed first before we actually apply the new silicone application here. So here's an example of a skylight that we installed. After we flashed it in, we ended up sealing all the seams around here. We three-coursed it with mastic and reinforced it with polyester reinforcement. And then we installed the new skylight. So here's the new skylight. You can see now there's a lot more clearance from the roof and the curb of the skylight. You have about 8 inches of clearance here. That allows water to shed away from the skylight onto the field and off the roof. So we're removing the existing roof membrane right now, taking a look at the wood deck. It's important that before we put on the new silicone roofing system, we need to make sure that the foundation is sound. So what we're going to do is it's most likely either the seating, which is like the plywood underneath, or it's the rafters that runs across. And if you look a little closely, can't show you. If you look at here, this is all water stain. So over time, if you have like bad wood or water stained wood, the wood will get rotted. So if you look at the condition of the existing wood here, there's some darkness to it, and most likely like this section has had leak over time, and then the wood eventually gets rotted, and then over time the wood can get bad. So it's better now that we replace the existing foundation of the roof before we put on the new roof member. A couple of things I do want to point out that's unique on this roof is that you'll see a lot of these areas, these dirt areas on the feel of the roof. These are ponding water areas. And one of the reasons why we recommended to this owner here to put on a silicone system is because the silicone product is a lot superior of a product when it comes to ponding water compared to a system like acrylic. Over time, the silicone system will withstand ponding water issues and it won't peel like some of the other systems out there. So throughout this roof, you'll see a lot of these areas. Even after we put on the new silicone system, you'll still have some of this, but with a silicone system, the system will withstand the warranty throughout the life of it. Yeah, so right here we have some areas where they've applied acrylic, but the acrylic is not tightly onto the original roof. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna actually use like a wire brush to scrape off the loose acrylic. We wanna make sure that we get really tight adhesion once we apply the new material. So we don't want any loose items on the roof. In order to do that, we're gonna take this wire brush, we're gonna scrape off any of the loose acrylic that was on here, remove it, so then it will be applied on a firm surface, a clean surface. That way we'll get full adhesion. Here's another example here. You can see like there's a little bubble here. It's because the acrylic wasn't applied well. So that way we don't want any type of void or gaps here. So what our guys are gonna do, they're gonna come back, peel back any of this loose materials that are on the roof. We're gonna take a wire brush, peel this back until a point where it's tight, or you'll peel back till when it's no longer, or to a point where it's tight. And then at that point, we'll be able to clean this section, prime it, and then put on the new roof member.
Yeah. No, so good. Just up to here.
Yeah, so pretty much what they're doing here is we have there's a loose section on the scuppers here. The scupper is where the water from the roof runs off of the roof. So there's a loose section. A previous contractor came up here, put plywood over put an OSB board over the drain area, and the previous contractor didn't seal it tight. So this area is loose, but like I said, we want to make sure that we get the existing roof membrane that we're going to go over to be tight, to be watertight, before we put the new roof membrane over it. So what we're doing right here is we're putting a shrink wrap to protect the new skylights that we just installed. We will be spraying the roof with primer. We don't want any overspray or anything. We want to make sure we protect the skylights, so there's no silicone on it, there's no primer on it. Also, we protect it from dirt as we're cleaning the roof as well. So we just finished pressure washing the roof, drying the roof, removing the debris. Now the roof surface is clean. So what we have going on over here, we are currently spraying on the bleed blocker. It's a bleed blocker, it's also a primer as well too. What it does is it helps adhere the silicone when we apply the silicone onto the roof, and it also prevents the tobacco or the asphalt from below to surface up and stains the silicone. So it keeps the silicone white. If we don't apply this on and we just apply the silicone over the existing roof membrane, maybe 6 months down the road to a year down the road, that silicone will turn yellow. And furthermore, the adhesion on that silicone won't be as tight.